I moved into my childhood home again, and every night, I would fold my clothes neatly. But every morning, I'd find extra clothes in the closet, clothes that weren't mine. Every morning, the kitchen looked slightly different, a clean plate here, a moved cup there. At first, I thought I was forgetting things, until I stayed awake one night. I live alone, but every night, one side of my bed feels warm, like someone had been there before me. I tried ignoring it, until I checked under the bed. There's a small door in my hallway I've never used. One morning, I woke up and found it slightly open, even though I always kept it locked. At first, it was just small things, bread slices, fruits. But I live alone. So I started marking my food, and what I discovered made me stop eating at home. Nothing felt wrong in my house, until I noticed something in the mirror. Every time I looked, there was a shadow behind me. That wasn't there when I turned around. I started finding wet clothes hanging in my house, clothes I never bought. I told myself maybe I forgot, until I saw them moving slightly on their own. At the same time every night, I would wake up. Something always felt different. A chair moved, a door open, a light on. One night, I stayed awake to see why. There's one chair in my living room. Every time I leave the house, it's in one place. But when I return, it's always facing me. There was one wall in my house that sounded different when I knocked on it. I ignored it for weeks, until one night, I heard knocking back. I finally went up to the attic to understand what was happening in the house. I told myself it was just old wood, shifting pipes, wind. But there were footprints in the dust, fresh ones. Small, but the air still felt occupied. I opened the door to my old bedroom. Everything was exactly how I remembered it, except it wasn't abandoned. The bed was made. The toys were arranged facing the door. Even the old nightlight was on. And on the desk was a note that said, "You finally came back. Now we don't have to take turns anymore." I spent the night watching everything carefully. No sleep. No blinking longer than necessary. And then I realized something terrifying. The changes didn't happen to the house. They happened when I wasn't paying attention. Like the house only moved when I stopped watching myself closely enough. Or worse, like I was the one rearranging it and forgetting. That night, every room went silent. No shifting. No footsteps. No movement. Then, from every wall at once, I heard a single sentence spoken in my voice, perfectly calm. "We were waiting for you to remember you never left." I grabbed my keys and ran for the front door. I didn't think. I just needed out. But when I opened it, I was standing in the hallway again. Same smell. Same dim light. Same silence. I tried the back door. Same result. Every exit brought me back to the center of the house, like it was folded around me. And each time I returned, it felt like the house was getting more familiar with my fear. Every clock in the house froze at 3:17. Not broken, just paused. Even my phone displayed the same time, refusing to change. Then I understood something worse. Time wasn't stuck. It was waiting. Waiting for me to accept that 3:17 wasn't an hour. It was a place. A moment the house kept reopening. I stood in front of the mirror again. At first, it showed me normally. Then slowly, extra reflections appeared behind me. Not shadows. Not distortions. Other versions of me. Sitting. Standing. Watching. Smiling. All of them in positions I had never been in, but somehow remembered. One of them pressed its hand against the glass from the inside, and whispered, "You always come back here before you wake up." Everything went quiet again. No house sounds. No movement. No fear. Just stillness. And in that stillness, I finally remembered. I never moved back into my childhood home. I never left it either. I had been here the whole time, walking the same rooms, repeating the same nights, convincing myself I was arriving, when I was only looping deeper inside what I already was. The house wasn't a place. It was my memory trying to keep itself alive, by never letting me finish leaving. And as I stood in the center of it, The walls finally stopped pretending. They didn't trap me anymore. They recognized me. If this story gave you chills, you're not alone. Now tell me, what part unsettled you the most? The extra clothes, the mirror, or the moment the house started remembering you? Comment it below, and don't forget to like and follow for more stories that blur the line between fear and memory. And one last thing. If you ever wake up at 3:17 again, don't ignore it.